Hello, gentle viewers. This is Av Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 23 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. In our previous episode, we finished a relatively successful season. We did indeed go 99-63. However, we got Raffle stomped in the League Championship Series. It was never really close. And we're quickly running into one of the more classic issues to run into in Major League Baseball, which is not having enough pitchers. Remember, we're still trying to get 3 more championships if we can to get to that elusive 8th. So, one thing I wanted to talk about before we get into what we can try to acquire and what we can't is I wanted to chat a little bit about something a commenter brought up, which is why do I keep targeting mechanics in my coaches? And how do I make that decision? Let's take a look at, say, Solomon McGuire here. So, important to remember, there are 3 things that every coach has as a stat. Now, I'm not sure how, at the major league level, this works. If it's in the aggregate, if it is whatever it is, but I know manager has the biggest impact on this. Development is, does the player hit their floor? In other words, it does a 20-80 with 20 overall and 80 potential. What's the chances of them getting to that 80? And keep in mind, baseball is a brutal business. There will be plenty of times that you will actually see players fail to hit that 80 for lots of reasons. Even with a team of legendary development guys from top to bottom, you're still going to run into that. That's just the price of doing business. That's development. Mechanics is, can you fix something about the player to see an uptick in potential? Lastly, handles aging is, do they age gracefully? Or are they going to hit a wall and then just disintegrate, like Ty Sims did last season? Why do I bring this up? What's the difference? We have been in both a very good and very unfortunate position in that we haven't been making top 5 picks for a very long time now. Which means we're not getting the most elite talent. So in order to get anywhere near elite level talent, we need mechanics. We need our coaches to spot something that turns a mediocre player into a top tier player. That's why I tend to prize mechanics lower in the minors and tend to prize development higher in the minors. So you look at something like an Aldrich Acosta, I have his development quite high as well. Technically, Acosta is actually a pitching coach. If I were to replace my pitching coach, he'd be on the short list for that position upgrade. But for right now, I'm happy to leave him where he is. I hope that makes sense. That's kind of what I go for when I am building up a coaching staff. I want to give a quick shout out. There was a commenter actually who told me the difference between mechanics and development. I never understood them until this season. And so I really appreciate the commenter that shared that with me. I don't remember who it was, though, so I apologize. I'm terrible with names. It's a weakness. I'm trying to get better, but I probably won't. The other thing people brought up, which is very relevant to our discussion right now, is how do you get pitching prospects? And the first thing is to think of TINSTAP, right? That wonderful acronym created by Baseball Prospectus years ago, which is there is no such thing as a pitching prospect. What do we mean by that? Well, the truth is the vast majority of even highly ranked pitchers tend to have something bad happen to them. It's a very dangerous position. John Nazario was a 24th round pick. This is an example where mechanics probably really helped him out. If we take a quick look at his overall talent level, he started as a 20. He started as a 20, and something happened to him. Yeah, if we look here, his control has been improving pretty steadily. He's added velocity to his fastball to the point where he might actually become, at least in the short term, a major league caliber starter, which was definitely not going to happen when we drafted him. So anyway, that's one issue that we're currently facing, which is that all pitchers, regardless of actual talent level, are going to face a bumpy road to the majors. It's just the nature of the position. If you took, let's say by some weird happenstance of the spheres, you decide, you know what? I have the first 5 overall draft picks in this draft somehow. Let's get 5 starters. There is absolutely no guarantee that any of those 5 players work out. If you got a hit on one of them, you might feel pretty good about yourself. And so there's always going to be a level of difficulty in finding pitchers when you are trying to acquire them. Now, let's add on to that, because it gets worse. Because we are consistently picking in the bottom 10 draft picks, we're missing out on the college-age starters. Why does that matter? Everything I just said about TINSTAP is greatly expanded when we start talking about high school versus college pitchers. Baseball Prospectus talks about something called an injury nexus, which is if a pitcher doesn't get hurt by a certain age, generally 23 to 25, they're less likely to suffer a catastrophic injury that's going to require something like Tommy John surgery or labrum tears, repairs, or anything like that. So, if the pitcher makes it that long, you have a much higher chance of that pitcher continuing to be successful. If you draft a high school pitcher, you have to be very, very careful with them. And even if you're absolutely careful with them, not newly World Series winning manager Dusty Baker destroying Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood, you have to be very careful with them. But even if you are, you still might lose them. Something catastrophically bad still might happen to them. And that sucks. But it is, unfortunately, for better or worse, part of baseball. That's why teams tend to favor college pitchers for the most part. Because college pitchers are far more likely... I wish they would stop doing this. I don't need to see the active roster twice, thank you. Is that college pitchers are closer to getting through that injury nexus already. Right? Like, they've already beaten that first hurdle. All they gotta do is just keep going. That's all they gotta do. So a guy like a Michael Broadwater, who was a high school pitcher, is going to have a long road to the majors. But when you're drafting this low in the draft order, you've got to take some kind of sacrifices here. So even though I could push him up to short season ball, I'm not going to. That's just the way it's going to be. I hope that makes sense. That's kind of the theory behind getting pitching. One other suggestion, which is very, very highly welcomed, is I've got 119 people in rookie ball. I don't need 119 people in rookie ball. This is a bit of a... It's not exactly a glitch, but it is an annoying fact of the whatchamacallit. It is an annoying fact that... Where is the thing I'm thinking of here? Yeah. The problem is, I don't want them signing minor league free agents, so I can't let them do the releases. And in the past, I don't think it's been like this early TV22, but never left on an automatic, so I don't know. The AI's done some really boneheaded stuff, like taking top-tier megastars that are like Hall of Famers in the making and just cutting them for reasons unknown to everyone. So instead, I'm just going to invert by potential. I'm going to put in an age. choose age, and we're going to do is greater than 20. Oh, I know what I could do. I can make this a whole lot easier. And then we're going to add a filter. And we're going to do where is potential? And we're going to do is less than 25. This is going to bring me a list of every player who's more than 20 years old but has less than 25 potential. And if I click this now, that's 61 players, guys. These are 61 players who have a very, very rough road to the major leagues. You know what they are right now? Gone. And now our rookie team is down to 93, which is still way too freaking high. But my big problem isn't that. It's these players that are in the 30s and 40s are just kind of clogging it up. It's fine. That's why we have multiple rookie league teams. If I need to like shift people around there, then I will. I'm gonna send Orlando Salgado. I don't know if this is gonna make a difference or not, but I'm gonna send him to one of the Dominican summer leagues. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna leave that alone. I'm just gonna leave y'all where you are. And yeah. Leo Campos is already 20 years old. And he's had 2 years. I'm going to go ahead and bump him up. I'm going to go ahead and send Leo Campos to short season ball. Mostly because short season doesn't have any really good pitchers, so it's worthwhile to make that promotion. Now, let's take some time and think about... We're going to use the roster tab here because it's a little bit easier to see it. Not roster. Where's the one I was just in? Minor leagues. Nope. Wrong button. Misclick. Misclick. Minor leagues. I'm going to get rid of my filter. And let's try to figure out what do we have that other teams might find attractive if we're going to try to get ourselves a starting pitching prospect. We only have 4 blue level prospects right now. We have a catcher, a shortstop, a first baseman, a reliever, and 2 starters. Now, 1 starter, sorry. Michael Broadwater is the only player in this organization that I currently consider to be untouchable among the prospects. If there was something about him that led me to think that, you know what, maybe I don't want to lose him, but I think there's something wrong with him, then fine. He's had a season to develop a bit, and he hasn't really developed all that well yet, which is, of course, troubling. So we're definitely going to need to keep a very close eye on this gentleman to make sure he's got even a chance at hitting his... Because right now, he's not figuring it out. Oh, 1 second, friends. I will be right back. I am back. Sorry about that. I was getting an angry, my headset was being angry before I realized that it's supposed to do that. Anyway, let's proceed forwards and talk a little bit more about what we've got that other teams might find attractive. So prospects or prospects is always an interesting decision to make, right? The reason the prospects or prospects is interesting is because it's going to determine whether you're going to get something truly exceptional. Because you're basically hanging your hat on, can I evaluate and identify players better than my opponent? Is there something that I see in a player that tells me this player is not likely to succeed? So prospect for prospect is always a bit of a challenge. It is, I have something that you might find interesting, you have something that I might find interesting. I want something that has a better chance of succeeding. Let's talk about one possible candidate, Xavier Easton. Xavier Easton is not a shortstop. He's still flagged as one. I'm going to let him play a shortstop in the minors to just see if something changes there. But the truth of the matter is he's not a shortstop. He's not even a third baseman. He's at best a mediocre second baseman. As I do so often, I tend to take my offensive prospects based on their bat and hope that we can fit them in somewhere else. So Xavier Easton is a classic example of a player that has a very, very high pedigree. And so teams might be more willing to give us something, even though I think he's going to struggle in the major leagues. And for all I talked about mechanics and how it can change a player, these only ever get worse when a player gets a certain age. That's a very important lesson to learn. They only ever get worse. So if a player isn't a great defender when you draft him, he never will be a great defender. So what I'm going to try real fast is if I trade him and only him, what kind of pitching prospect might I be able to get? And so what you're noticing here is a lot of thoroughly unremarkable starting pitchers. There is Lokeen Katina from American Samoa, a left-handed sidearmer. His movement isn't the best. He's a cutter, slider, splitter guy. Not a lot of velocity. Maybe? I kind of want to get a little bit greedier than that, though. Like, a guy like Katina is worth acquiring, but I don't know whether to want to give somebody of the level of a Xavier Easton for him. Because Easton is still going to have a good bat, right? I don't want to get ripped off here. So I'm going to go ahead and trade, but I'm actually going to go ahead and remove Easton. And see if I could trade something lesser to get him. And the answer is no. Which is very unfortunate, because there's nobody else I'm really willing to give up. I could do a classic challenge trade and tell you that Leo Campos isn't going to work out, where I know that Katina will. The thing is, I think Campos is going to be the better pitcher. Yes, Katina only has one plus pitch, his fastball, but the rest of his pitches are really effective. And he's got a really high ceiling for control and movement, and that makes him more valuable to me than a guy like Katina. If Katina had something like some kind of gimmick, I would be more likely to grab him. So, okay. So we're not going to trade Easton for that. Let's think about someone we would be willing to trade. One of our plethora of relief prospects. Let's take a gentleman like, say, Justin Tufts. So already we hear forget it, no way, no how. Does it change the list? It does change the list. Now we're getting deeper into my prospect pool to a point where I might be willing to make the trade. Let's look at Jose Cordero. Jose Cordero is thoroughly unremarkable in every sense of the term. There's nothing wrong with him, but there's also nothing terribly right with him. He has fairly low velocity, and if we look at his scouting history, he's already made 2 jumps in velocity. It is possible he makes more. But his big issue is that his movement and stuff aren't that great. And he's only got 1 plus pitch and 1 borderline pitch, and splitters and forkballs are thrown with different grips, but the function of the pitch is more or less the same. So they aren't different enough. He doesn't have a breaking ball. Jose Cordero, I don't think he was likely to be successful. The question is, do I want to give up Tufts? And I do want him to get a chance in the majors in the near future. He's got a good fastball cutter curve mixture, so maybe I don't want to give up Tufts. And now, all of a sudden, we get a giant list because teams weirdly are like Jose Cordero. Oh my god. Let's look at Jared Powell. Jared Powell is what the kids call fucking trash. He only has a fastball and a sinker that might work. This is an easy choice. Where is Mr. Powell? Goodbye. And we've got ourselves a fairly nice pitching prospect. And it cost me very little. So let's go ahead and look at Lokin Katina. We know that he's 19 years old. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to shortlist him. And we're going to control his demotions promotions. I'm not saying that Mr. Katina is necessarily going to be an all-star, but he's definitely better than what we gave up. And that's what you kind of have to do. But we don't have an elite pitching prospect. That's going to basically cost us a major leaguer. And so the question there becomes, where do we have enough depth that if we gave up a major leaguer that it wouldn't hurt us? And that unfortunately is our big problem here. I'm not saying we can't find a starting pitcher or two by trading like a Jesus Lopez. Lopez seems like a pretty good dude. I don't necessarily want to get rid of him. But I've got lots of players of this type already. What if I offered up a Jesus Lopez? What kind of starting pitching prospect might that get me? Oh, I just drafted him. I can't trade him. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, this is going to be Freddie Suarez's show at shortstop this season. I'm going to let him take the ball every day and devolve. Huamani's probably going to get traded at some point. What if I traded him now? What does that get me on the starting pitching prospect front? Okay, so we're not seeing any really great pitching prospects being offered here. So let's go hunting. Let's do a bit of a hunt. I want to do player search. No, that's not what I want. It's find a player, which is under free agency, isn't it? No, it's under players. Yes, find a player. Okay. So I want prospects only. I don't want one older than 22. I want his potential to be at least 70. And definitely a starting pitcher. And let's try to get at least 60s across the board. If we're going to go big, let's go big. Anything else I'd like? I don't care what hand they use. I'm good with either one. So let's go ahead and do search. Literally no player exists with that talent level. Interesting. What if I remove this alone? Maybe there's something. There may just be no, because it's not even giving me players on my own team. Interesting. Why are you saying that no players match the criteria? Yeah, something is happening here that I don't fully understand. Oh, because include minor leaguers wasn't checked. Oh my god, game. Really? There we go. So as you can see here, this is not a very long list. It includes our own Michael Broadwater. Juan Love is already somewhat accomplished, which means there's a fairly good chance that he is going to... his arm isn't as likely to fall off. So what does Juan Love offer a pitching-hungry staff? Well, he's got great stuff already, pretty good movement, and his control is almost there. He's got a great curveball, fastball, sinker mix with a reasonably good slider and changeup. He throws quite hard. He's got good loyalty and work ethic. He's not very greedy. This isn't a perfect pitching prospect, but what I really love is this number here. This means he's already capitalizing on his floor, which means he's very, very close to Major League ready, possibly as soon as this season. This is going to cost us a lot. So let's start thinking about a player I might be willing to give up. Let's start with Xavier Easton. And at this point, they're saying, I want Sal Becerra if you're going to ask for that. But it's a negotiation. Sal Becerra is a really interesting prospect to me. He's a really interesting prospect. Not just because of his, I mentioned this last episode, his ridiculous name. First of all, he's ginormous. He's 6'7" and he's a catcher. That isn't normal, right? Like 6'7" players have a difficulty staying healthy anyway. That just gets compounded when they're catchers. Like for every, for every big unit, Randy Johnson, there's another... Oh, Christ, what was the guy's name? He pitched for the White Sox and was nearly as big as Randy Johnson, but he couldn't throw very hard. I know his first name was John, which doesn't help. Help me out in the comments if you can think of the guy I'm thinking of. They even called him Little Unit, if I remember right. And his issue was that he's like a side-arming sinker baller. John Wauch, maybe? W-A-U-C-H? John Roush. That's it. R-A-U-C-H. That's the guy. I wonder if he's in the database. We'll look at it later. But anyway, yeah. So just being real big isn't necessarily a good thing here. There's also a lot to be concerned about here. This is supposed to be an offense-first catcher that hasn't been developing in any significant way. Check out his scouting reports. He's getting slowly better. But he's still got a long way to go. The question is he worth giving up on yet? And the answer to that question is so far no. I love Sal Becerra. I love what he could potentially bring to the table. And until I am reasonably convinced he can't handle it, I don't want to move on from him if I don't have to. So, Easton and Becerra for Love is not likely to work out. But let's offer him a different prospect. Let's offer him Marco Torres. Now, Torres is not a very good catcher, but he's a pretty good hitter. Does this change his opinion? No, he still wants Becerra. I don't want to offer him a starting pitcher in exchange. What if I offered you Williams and Torres? Yeah, he doesn't want to give up a great pitcher for anything less than what if I offer just Becerra? So this is the offer that we're looking at right now. Let's think about what we're getting before we talk about what we're not getting. Juan Love is not a sure thing. That is not a thing that exists. But he would instantly become the highest ceiling pitcher in our system that has a chance to succeed, right? This is a huge reach for the fences. His name is Ratface. You have to love that. It is mandatory. And the thing is, he is continually getting better. He's already added a tick to his velocity. His control's getting better. This guy could be a real good pitcher. He is losing a bit of stamina. That is a concern. But he just turned in a very good year in Double-A, which means his time to the majors may be like that. So here's my question. Is it worth it? My assistant GM says no. The assistant GM is like, how dare you? This doesn't make any sense. How could you possibly give up players like the Order of Becerra and Easton? Here's the thing, though. Easton's bat will play anywhere. Potentially. And Becerra's bat will play anywhere. Potentially. But Becerra in particular is 18 years old. He is decades away from where he ever might become. That's hyperbole, but at least 1 decade. This is not somebody who's going to start for the White Sox next year, or the year after that, or probably even the year after that. If I were to hazard a guess, by the time he's 22, that's 4 years from now, you might have a sense about whether A, he can stick behind the plate, and B, whether he's going to capitalize on his possibly elite level offensive talents. There's a guy supposed to have elite power and hasn't broken double digits homers yet. Xavier Easton is a decent hitter without a position. These are both prospects that are flawed. We can very clearly see this. Would I like to get more out of this deal? I would, but we probably won't. If I add Alex Nera, yeah, that instantly kills the deal for you. That's fine. I understand that. What about Daniel Villarreal? He's certainly nothing special, but he's definitely reliable. Wow, you really like Abishon for some reason. But Abishon might actually be a good pitcher already. I just need to give him an opportunity. Can we make this really ridiculous by giving you Marco Torres? No. Okay. Elias Hall, perhaps? No. Alright. So I know my assistant GM feels really grumpy about this trade. I don't. We're going to do it. I love this deal. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're too kind. We're going to shortlist him. I'm going to take over his promotion. And he is going right to AAA. With a spring training invite and possibly even making the Major League roster a very realistic possibility. So, let's go back to our player search. Is there any other prospect on this list we would want to try to acquire? I see you, Dylan Bannister. I wonder how much it would cost us to get Dylan. I cannot acquire Dylan Bannister. He is not tradable. So we have only 2 other pitchers that fill the bill, which are Gabe Osorio and David Zuniga. Zuniga doesn't have much in the way of movement. He's also weird side armor. He might be a great pitcher. I don't know how much I think he will, though. Gabe Osorio seems like a much better bet, though. I could see him pitching for the Pirates. He gonna cost me a lot, though, if I do acquire him. So I don't think I'm gonna try anymore. I think we've got our white whale, though. We have a big-time pitching prospect who's very close to Major League ready. which is an excellent combination. And let's be realistic here. He might make the roster as soon as this season. So, that was a lot of time just to do one trade, but I hope you found it worth it. That is not a trade that's without risk, though. I want to preface that by saying there is a very realistic chance that... good. You are both shortlisted, right? Yeah. There's a very real chance that these both turn out to be, like, ultra stars for the White Sox. But they're also in the AL, so I don't really care about that quite as much. Cool. Another thing that someone mentioned in the comments, which is very well received, is we probably need some better outfield defense, so it might make sense to turn Munoz back into a DH and let someone else play the field. And I think that makes a ton of sense. I'm not going to hand anything to Navio yet because he has to earn it. We need to see him hit in the bigs. But he's going to get more opportunities this season for sure. For sure. Alright, my friends. Let us go ahead now. And let's do a quick check of our arbitration guys. Yep. Our owner wants us to bring back Joe Camp. Here's my pledge to you, friends. If I can get rid of Ty Sims, I will sign him to a new contract. Sorry, I shouldn't be picky. Any player. Oh, he still shows having 2 years left. I definitely want to wait until the preseason to trade him. Alright. We're going to lose Jose Brown. That's fine. How much does Joe Camp actually want again? He wants $24 million. Maybe. I don't know, guys. Let's go ahead and advance and get some awards done and let some of these coaching things get sorted out. Everyone wants to coach for the Pirates because they offer ridiculous salaries if you tell me you don't want to stay here. Alright, Kirby Camacho is, at present, an excellent top-tier pitching coach in the thing there. Wait, a major league team is trying to poach you. Sure. I don't know why you would be like, a major league team wants you to be their manager. Okay, have $40,000. Holy fuck, I'm yours forever. Cool. I would be like, yeah, fuck you, buddy. You either make me a major league coach or I'm walking. Excellent. I think it's all of our coaching vacancies filled now. Amazing stuff. Out of one salary, arbitration deal is taken care of. Does Josh Brown have value as a reliever at this point in his career? If Jose Brown would come back for like $1 or $2 million, I'd think about it, but he wants a longer term deal and a starting rotation gig. That ain't gonna happen. That is not going to happen, my friends. And he's already losing velocity, if I remember right. So I don't think it's worth it. I've got other people I can rely upon in the bullpen, or I can just get a couple of bargain basement free agents. I don't like spending significant resources just on the bullpen. I think it's a waste of limited money. Let's go through the rest of award season. Surely we'll get a couple. Right? Maybe? Or maybe none? Oh, we definitely got something. Joe Camp won Reliever of the Year again. And that was it. Annoying. Not even a Silver Slugger? Really? I guess. Anyway. Alright. We've got some Hall of Famers to vote upon. Let's do the work. I don't mind voting for Jamie Alford, or Jaime maybe, so I'll give him a vote. But if we compare him to like the average Hall of Fame first baseman, he's around there. So I guess there's worse decisions you can make. Really, Eric Corrigan is getting a lot of votes, huh? Why though? How does 463 saves rank all time? It does rank 6th all time, and everyone ahead of him in the list is in the Hall of Fame. Okay, that information is enough to convince you to vote for him, plus it might give me another pit credit for Hall of Famers. No thank you. I know there's not much separating Alford from Danilov, but there's enough that I'm not going to vote for him right now. Bill Garay, no thank you. Rory Gratton is a yes for me. I do think he's good enough to make the Hall. Looking for anything exceptional. I may be giving Jalen Moore a bit too much credit just because he's a third baseman, but I think he's worthy of the Hall of Fame. To that end, I'll also vote for Danny Morales. I'll vote for this guy just to get him off my freaking ballot. Jeff Pierce should have made it last time. I don't know why he didn't, but I think he definitely deserves it. I'll vote for Jose Rubio. I can live with that. 10-time All-Star to premium position. I can go for that. Leo Tabares had better make the Hall of Fame this first ballot because he definitely deserves it. Jeff Wright also deserves a spot on my ballot, I think. And why not Gabe Yates? There we go. Let's see what happens there. Is Joe Camp going to take the 1-year deal? That's going to be a very interesting question. And if I were him, I don't think I would. Unless he really likes Pittsburgh. Yeah, he declined the offer, so I am going to get a comp pick. All right. Let's now look at our contracts, and they should all now some say that they only have 1 year. Yeah. All right. Ty Sims. What is it going to take to get you off my roster? I will eat half of his salary if it means getting rid of the other half. Really? No one's going to take Ty Sims from me, are they? That's fine, I guess. I can live with that. Or is he being a jackass and vetoing the trade? Is that the problem? Yep, you're a prick. You're the worst. Why did I give you a no trade clause? Because at one point you were amazing. Now you're just amazingly bad. Womp. Womp. So right now the rotation is probably going to be Mifflin, Grasham, Calderon, and Brinkman. And probably Avishon, too. With the high likelihood that Juan Love is going to push the issue at some point in the very near future. Okay, great. Is there a reason not to try to bring back Joe Camp? There are several reasons. But perhaps the most important one is that he hasn't been a starter at the major league level in a while. Instead, he's been a truly transcendent reliever. If Joe Camp said, give me $10 million, I would give him $10 million. The thing is, he wants $30 million, and I am not going to do that. No. It's going to make the new owner grumpy. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just not. I'm going to increase ticket prices again, though. Okay. Alright, amigos, let us check out the free agent market. And we're going to nuke our filters here. I just want to look at everybody. All players. No, not with only 2 pitches. I'm not going to pay money for that. Do we actually want a starting pitcher, though? That's a really fair question, and I think the answer to that question is likely no. Interesting. Edwin Villegas only wants a little over $1 million. What if I got you for 2 years? What if I got you for 3 years and offered you a vesting option where if you finish 40 games... No, I don't want to do it based on games finished. I want to do it on innings pitched, and let's make it 50. How does this work for you? No. I'm not going to guarantee you being a closer, but I will happily bring you into the fold and let you pitch for us for a year. Let's look at starting pitching and see what we've got here. Is there anyone here that is worth spending on? I quite like Frank Arteaga, but I don't love the stamina. I definitely don't want to give up a draft pick for him. Really, our old pal Victor Rios is back on the market. Intriguing. he wasn't that terrible as a starting pitcher either, which is truly impressive. It's former Pirate Corey McLaughlin. How has he been doing? Not well. Not well. Do we bring back Victor Rios is the interesting question. And actually give him a chance to start. Because he's no worse than Mike Grasham, right? I think it is worth a year to find out. You're not getting a no-trade clause, but I will promise you the rotation. And we'll see how that works out for you. Okay, other positions. I'm not going to keep Huamani. I'm not going to do that. Instead, we're probably going to get a new... we're probably going to let Suarez be our shortstop. Is there any position I can spend money at that I should spend money at? Let's look at the offensive possibilities here. Not really. This drops off in like lightning speed. Mo Ketter. I don't hate this at all. I just don't know where I'd put him. I don't really need yet another offensive player. Nope. Alright, I think we're probably out of this free agent market, though. This just isn't a great market for free agents. I'm going to make an offer to Joe Camp because I want him to come back if he'll come back on my terms. And if I don't offer him anything, he's not going to give us a chance. So, Joe Camp, I will offer you a 3-year deal at $10 million. I'll even offer you $12 million with 2 vesting options, and I don't even need that many innings pitched. Let's say no to this, no to this. If you give me 70 innings pitched each season, you automatically get your raise. So, that's enough just to get him thinking about my offer. So, that's all I want right now. We can come back to him later. It's going to make the owner mad. I'm sorry, but that's what's going to happen here. I also want to trade Huamani because I'm not going to keep him. He doesn't do enough to convince me to keep him, only to be a backup shortstop. Can I get any intriguing prospects? I could get several intriguing prospects. I wonder why you're not more highly rated as a starter. I could see that happening. Uh-oh. You know how I am, guys. A player with elite power that can not embarrass himself at a couple different positions is kind of my kryptonite. He's really fast, too. Can I get anybody else? Probably not. Like, you're not going to give me Eddie Gordillo, nor should you. You'd be pretty dumb if you did that. So yeah, I was going to make this deal. Straight up, I'm happy about it. Okay, cool. I I think we're just going to sit tight a bit and let some of the offseason tick by us. I really think Joe Camp is making a mistake, trying to become like an amazing starter when he could instead be one of the best relievers in the major leagues. I truly think there's a bit of a risk in there that may not be worth taking. Yeah, bro, I'm not going to make you the closer. I'm just not. I'll tell you what I will do, though. I'm going to offer you a much lower bonus. If you give me 50 innings, then I will give you the 114 grand. I'm not going to make you the closer, my guy. I'm not going to do that. I've already got a closer, so you can get fucked. We're going to get a supplemental first-round pick. How much money did Joe Camp get? He got $27 million to be a starting pitcher. You know what, my boy? I wish you the very best. I'm going to shortlist you just so I can keep track of your career, but I wasn't going to pay you that much. So, yeah. I do want another guy in the pen. No, because if Fujii can just add a little bit of control or movement, he's going to be a really good starter. So I don't think I like that. I'm going to check the bullpen free agent market and see what we've got. Jim Gender, nope. You're not getting me this time. Like, you're not really a reliever, dude. I mean, I guess you could be a reliever. You could be the next Joe Camp. Just make you pitch till your arm falls off. Joel Hundley. Good movement, decent stuff in control. Oh, you're a soft tosser. Interesting. Yeah, I just don't know that I can be asked to sign any of these folks. I mean, there's always bringing back Jim Gender, obviously. Never hurts us in the least. But here's why I'm loath to do it. Like, I've already got Justin Tufts, who's a pretty good reliever. And I kind of think I'd rather give Justin Tufts an audition than sign anybody that I can see there. So we'll figure it out, but right now, that's the direction I'm leaning in. So right now, my ideal rotation is probably going to be Mifflin, Grasham, Calderon, Abishon, and Rios, or maybe Brinkman and Rios. But we'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens. I could also grab an intriguing reliever on the Roll 5 market too. So we've got options here. Speaking of options, who needs to be capped? I don't want to lose Juan Camacho for nothing. I know he's injured, but I like what I see enough here that I don't want to lose him for nothing. Oh no, actually that's not really an issue. No, it would be. Yeah, because it could just instantly put him. So I'm going to go and add him to the 40 man. And then everybody else here is some level of I don't care. So I am happy to let them find greener pastures if that's what would make their heart happy. Alright, who we got? Who are the intriguing players in this Rule 5 class? Hi, Andy Allison. Why don't people like you? Huh? Why do you have a giant salaried auto renew? I'm not going to help the Astros by taking that much money off their books. That just seems stupid to me. Good fastball curveball mix. Really hard thrower. Great stuff. A lefty sinker splitter guy, eh? Or curveball slider guy. Interesting. I think we found our winner. I think we're going to grab ourselves Eddie Ortiz. Really? $2 million? That's not how that works, dude. Any other player I'd like to add here? I don't think so. I think I'm happy with what we got. I just don't want to help out the Astros by taking this money off their books. They were that fucking stupid. That's on them, not me. Alright, cool. I'm going to go ahead and sim the rest of the Rule 5 draft. Josh Jenkins is a legitimately fairly decent catching prospect. I'm kind of surprised Texas let him go. Justin Wildford doesn't really do it for me. Yes. Because I could turn you into the next Joe Camp. And you know how I am about guys named Joe Camp. Like, I don't think we're going to give Rios a chance to start this season. I think he's earned that much from us, but... yeah. I'm a little bit sad we lost Joe Camp. But I don't blame him, right? Like, I don't blame him for wanting to bet on himself. That's very reasonable to me. And I'm fine with that. Tabarius Alford and Danny Bobo made it? What's so special about him? That's fine. We got Rios back. Nope, I'm good, thanks. I could literally just claim him off of waivers. Oh, that's hilarious. You should not have put him on waivers first. Yeah. I do not wish to participate in the WCB, so I shall simply decline. That is breaking news. Really? The Miami Seals have moved to become the Charlotte Sea Turtles. I mean, that's a pretty badass name. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see the logo. The logo is what's gonna sell it for me. Really? That... You could at least made it look like a turtle, guys. Man, I love the name, but that is very disappointing. I keep thinking it says the Jacksonville Beer based on the icon, but it's the bees instead. I guess it kind of looks like a turtle, a little bit, if you squint. Maybe. Guys, I don't know. A real missed opportunity, though. That is a cool name, though. It's a cool-ass name. No one can argue that. Now we have two turtle team themes in the majors, with the Albuquerque Terrapins and the Charlotte Sea Turtles. Will it all become turtle-based? A turtle-based baseball economy? TBD. I mean, I do think Charlotte, if Major League Baseball is going to expand, I do think Charlotte would be in the running. But I'm also concerned that the Braves would block it because it'd be so close to Atlanta. You kind of get the feeling that the Carolinas are going to be a hard market for a baseball team unless Atlanta gets something pretty juicy. Like, I'm old enough to remember when the Nationals moved from Montreal. And the absolute bullshit that Peter Angelos put the team through to even get into the market, which is pretty ridiculous. But that's always how it's been, though. I'm sure if somebody wanted to open up a Major League Baseball team in Columbus, there'd definitely be some concerns from both Cleveland and Cincinnati. Ty Sims is getting even worse. Amazing. That's all I wanted in life. I guess if no one's going to give us money for him, we could just cut him. I really don't want to, though. Like, I don't want to cut him. I just don't think he's anything special. His power's picking up a bit. Can I eat half his salary and get anything remotely interesting? Here, you know what? Let's do this and see if anyone else has a contract they want to get rid of. Because I've got the money to do that. Really? Like, I love how if I eat his entire salary, I can still barely get any bites. So it's like this, right? The question is, would I rather get nothing by cutting him, or would I rather get something by absorbing all of his salary? The thing is, I don't want any of these players, though, is the problem. Like, I guess Jonathan Flores is an interesting enough player that I wouldn't mind having him, so I guess we can do this. What do I start walking back the salary? Alright, what if I do none of his salary? What would I have to throw in to get you to do it? I don't want to give up any of those players, but it's good to see that that's the asking price. I'm not going to give you Campos. I still believe a little bit too much in him. But we're getting to the point where I might be willing to do it. No, I remember Jeremiah Rhodes. I remember acquiring you and thinking you turned out to be a great pitcher. I was clearly wrong. Have him. The fans, you need to realize that Ty Sims fucking sucked by this point. Jonathan Flores, I'm going to put you on the 40-man, but then I'm going to send you to AAA. Because you're basically here. Oh, you're out of option years. Oh. That's embarrassing. I could keep you as a utility guy, though. I don't mind that. A quality first, third utility guy that can offer us some defensive support if we need him. I can live with that. He's also a really good fielder, too. Alright. Anyone else who would like to invite up to the prestigious... here you go. Up to spring training. Juan Love is first on the list. We definitely have to give him an opportunity in spring training. Same with Justin Tufts. Same with Alex De Nuez. Same with Jesus Lopez. Not really anybody else at the moment. I think everyone else just needs to... We need to sort out what we've already got before we worry about adding new people. Alrighty. Let's do... We're going to do a 6-man rotation for the spring, as is tradition. So you have Rios, Calderon, Grasham, Brinkman, Mifflin. No, you are not starting Sal Rada over fucking Abishon. Rada is fine, but he is... I'd much rather let Abishon try to get some meaningful innings than let yet another pitcher try to take time from him. Like, I'm not going to let him start over Brinkman this season, but... There's definitely a real chance that that's going to end up happening here. Winton Julian. I have a lot of lefties in this pen now. Really? We trust Julian that much? No, Juan Love is definitely starting. Over Abishon, even. That'll be your role in spring training purposes here. Because I don't want you to get some real-life reps at the major league level and see what you can do with them. Lineups, go ahead and do what you want. I don't mind. I don't necessarily want you to DH Pozo. I don't want that at all. So let's go ahead and shift Munoz over to right field. Or let's shift Munoz to DH. And let's put in Aguinaga, at least against right-handed pitching, to play right field. And we'll just see how this works for spring training purposes. Okay, cool. That's fine. Next month, please. Oh, Mr. Camacho, you go to the 60-day IL. I'm gonna put you on the 60-day IL, but to be honest, I'm actually far more likely to just release you because you don't really serve any productive point at this stage. But I'm gonna put you on the 60-day IL for now. I know technically you can come back in 7 weeks. That's fine, but I'd rather put him on the longer one because I don't think I'm gonna keep him anyway. I just don't want to cut the guy who's injured. That just seems like a dick move to me. Who did Brown end up signing with? He ended up getting $12 million from the Nationals. Have you actually lost your fucking minds? Have your minds actually departed your bodies? Because that certainly seems like what happened there. Jose Brown is not going to make the Hall of Fame, but he's had an amazing career. I guess if he won, say, 5 more games to get to 200, he'd get some consideration. I'm not convinced he'd deserve it, though. Also doesn't have much hardware. He's only got the 3 All-Star appearances, never won a Cy Young. I mean, how angry are the fans actually at this point? I guess I should give them some credence. They fucking love me. I gave them a mega team, so yeah, they can get fucked if they think I care that I'm not re-signing their overpriced players. That is unfortunate. That's actually going to put a real interesting look on this season. Because right now I have nobody on this team I trust as the closer. Not one player. So this is going to be very interesting to me to figure out how we're going to deal with not having a closer for 2 months. We might check free agency if there's any relievers left that are of fairly high caliber. Oh my god, really? I'm just going to send him back to the minors because I'm not going to put him on the Major League IL, which will then force me to put him on the 40-man. I probably want to do that, but I'm not 100% convinced. Holy shit, Justin Tufts is throwing harder. That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, Juan Love is going to be forcing the issue here in the very near future, I think. Okay, cool. Cool. And then I'm just going to simulate games until I get through all the games, and then I will make some decisions here. So first things first, let's go to free agency, and let's see if there's any top-tier relievers that haven't found a new home yet. Not really. So we're going to have to make the best with what we've got, or we're going to have to trade for a closer. Mike Gliss is playing for Portland now. Nice. Alright. So let's, first things first. I have 13 pitchers. I only really... No, we'll keep 13. I'm actually fine with that. No, I actually am going to send down Juan Love, though. I want him pitching every day in the minors versus forcing him into the majors this season. Alright. So, we're going to do Mifflin, Calderon, Grasham, Brinkman, and Rios are going to be our opening day rotation here. Abishan is emergency starter, long reliever. And then the question is, how does the rest of this shake out? I do want 13 pitchers if I can get them, though. The thing is, right now I can't. I don't think I have another pitcher I trust enough to call up. Yeah, we're gonna rock 12 relievers for right now, and just see where that gets us. So our closer is going to be all relievers. Pitching ratings, if you'd be so kind. Like, Julian's got the best raw stuff, but I am concerned about his control. We can try it, I guess, and see how it works out, because he's just got such good stuff that maybe it won't matter. And I think we're honestly going to go straight bullpen by committee to start the season. Eddie Ortiz, you're going to be my lefty killer. Really? You're actually equally mediocre against either one. That's kind of fun, I guess. I'm going to let Fuji be a long reliever. No, actually, I want to definitely be a short reliever. I think the other long reliever is going to be Arata. He's pretty good at that role. I could definitely use another reliever. I guess the other option would be to kick Rios into the pen and make him the next Joe Camp. The only reason I'm not really eager to do that is because I did promise him a starting rotation role this season. I did promise him that. And so I don't want him to hate me yet. He can hate me next season if he wants to, but this season I don't want him to hate me. We'll check the waiver wire on opening day. That's another good source of pitchers. And I think I'm going to leave one opening on the roster because I would really like to have 13 pitchers if we can manage it. All right. I have to keep both Flores and Poza, which is not my ideal scenario. Or just turn around and trade Flores for a reliever. I think that's what I do. Because I'm not going to let him start. I would like your finest reliever, sir. No veterans, though. Just prospects and regulars. Really? This is all that there is right now? Really? Oh, your fastball slider. Really good stuff. And you're a lefty. You're a hell of a lot better than Eddie Ortiz, to be sure. Can I get another reliever, though? I'm just going to make this trade. Because I desperately need another reliever, even though I don't really want to get one. So yeah. You can be our lefty killer, and you can also throw some middle relief innings, too, if you want to. All right, this brings us down to 32 players, and we need to get to 28. Or 26 rather. So there's 6 too many position players on this roster. Alright. Catchers are good. We've got Hill, Almaguer, Suarez, and Soto. We're keeping Pozo, so I have 1 too many position players here. I'm going to get rid of Villalobos because he's the one that can't hit his way out of a paper bag. Let's trade him. What could I acquire if I were to trade Mr. Villalobos? Anything interesting? I could get Hugo Arivalo. Let's do it. That seems like a pretty good deal. Like, I'm not going to let Arivalo play in the majors either, but that's still very cool. And it gets us someone that we could conceivably add in the future. I like this a lot. Plus, if he can play in AAA and have a pretty good season, he might get a chance to be much more important to the team's future. So I like that a lot. I've got way too fucking many outfielders. Lopez is going to go right the way back to AA. That's an easy choice. Salaya ain't nothing. Wait, why am I keeping Toro over Aravayo? Oh, because Toro has a little bit more bat on him right now. That makes sense. Yeah, Salaya, you're just going to get non-tendered or designated for assignment, whatever it's called. We're going to do Turner to the minors. We're going to do Stovall to the minors. I got to get rid of 1 more outfielder. Or a pitcher. Here's my issue. There's definitely value in keeping John Navio up in the big leagues. To let him hit with some regularity and see if he can do anything with that. The problem is he can't really play center at all. So if I keep him over Hawkins, then I don't have a backup center fielder that I can trust. Then again, Hawkins was nothing special last season, so maybe I'm overreacting about the need for a backup center fielder. Because Hawkins just isn't that good defensively. Verdini is my starting center fielder. That hasn't changed. That will not change. He is the number 1 guy in that department. Do we send down Aguinaga? Is that the play? I mean, he's not an amazing outfielder either. Is the thing. Like, is he better than Munoz? Obviously. Aguinaga's got a bit of range on him. But Manny Pozo is looking like a bit of an albatross right now. Like, I don't want to get rid of him at all. Because I really like him, and he's done some pretty impressive work for us, and he's almost certainly going to be a Hall of Famer, right? Like, I don't think there's too much of a debate about that right now. I kind of do want to keep all 6 outfielders, but recognizing that I can't. Navio's got 2 seasons in AAA. I don't think he's going to develop if we send him back again. What if we send on Aguinaga and make Navio the starting left fielder? That then gives us Hawkins as a reserve, which is what we want. Munoz can play DH. Navio can play right just as well. He's actually a little bit better in left. Salgado can't play right at all. Oh, that's interesting. I guess I could just DH Salgado and let Munoz play in right for a season until Aguinaga can get a bit more experience. I'm going to return Eddie Ortiz instead. And we're going to roll with 6 outfielders. I don't see a way to give up on any of them right now. And while he might be a very good relief pitcher someday, he's not right now. And I'm not so desperate for pitching that I want an inferior option. So we're going to go ahead and send him right back to the Fusion. I hate doing 12 pitchers at this point, but I have to because I really want to keep all of my outfielders. We'll figure it out, though, I promise. Alright, batting ratings. Best hitter on the team is Henry Salgado. I'm going to let Salgado bat third. Just like that. I really want Sean Hill to get more appearances with runners in scoring position, though. Am I going to keep pinch hitting for you? Yes, I think I will. So Sean Hill is going to be our... I don't want him batting cleanup necessarily. I guess hitting second still makes some sense, but I kind of want him batting lower in the lineup is the thing. What if we do cleanup for Hill and we do Munoz bats fifth? He's going to be our DH this season. And we're going to have Verdine and, most importantly, Mike Soto as our 1 and 2 hitters. And we're going to do the same thing for both hands. All right. So, playing in right field will be Aguinaga. Is there anyone else I'd rather bat 6th? I don't think so. We're going to do that. Almaguer plays 2nd and bats 8th, or 7th rather. Joe bats 8th. And last but certainly not least, Freddie Suarez is your opening day shortstop. Now, against left-handed pitching, we're going to go ahead and play Jordan Munoz at DH again. But then the question becomes, who plays in the outfield? Do we want to do a platoon where Aguinaga plays only against left-handed? Yes, I think that's what we're going to do. So John Navio is going to bat 6th and play right field. And Manny Pozo, I think, becomes our first baseman against left-handed pitching. And then we do Almaguer and Joe Mama and Suarez. Let's make some depth charts here. So, backup catcher is going to be Servine. Here, nuke the depth chart, please. Oh, no, don't do that. Really, game? Really? Okay. Let me just do generate. I don't really want Pozo playing at third that often, though. But I don't mind him getting a bit of playing time at third, I suppose. No, I don't want Pozo playing that often over Munoz. Munoz is the better hitter, and it's not particularly close at this point in their respective careers. Do I want Servine playing this often at catcher? I don't think I do. Let's go for every once a week. There we go. I don't mind Toro getting the odd start at third base, but I want Soto to play every single day. I need to see that he can handle a full major league load because there's quite a lot riding on his shoulders, and I want to see how he can handle it if he's playing every day. Alright. Let's go up to opening day, and I do at least want to check the market for the waiver wire for relievers. Oh. You fucking jerk. Wow. I despise you. I trade for a guy who instantly retires. What the actual fuck? I have never been more annoyed with a player right now. Like, really seriously, what is that bullshit? Like, you get an opportunity to play for one of the best teams in the major leagues year in and year out. And you're like, nah, that's alright, I'm just gonna retire. What a jerk. I hate you more than Sergio Lara. And that's saying something. That's a trade I clearly lost. And before we go any farther, let's check out the waiver wire. There's got to be a lot of names here. All pitchers. I like this game a lot. I'm going to claim you. You shall be mine. So, this is a different Pittsburgh Pirates team than took the field last season. Let's talk about some of the big changes, and then we'll end the episode. So, first things first, we have a new number 2 hitter, Mike Soto. Sean Hill is going to be our cleanup hitter against right-handed pitching. Because I think his elite power is just going to play better if he's batting lower in the lineup. Salgado, Munoz, Aguinaga is our everyday starting right fielder against right-handed pitching, and then we have John Navio against left-handed pitching. Almaguer, Joe, and Suarez. Joe and Almaguer are old friends. Suarez is getting his first chance to play every day in the major leagues. Rotation is mostly the same with the addition of Victor Rios, of course, and then we have a very, very different bullpen. I, to be honest with you, have no idea what's going to happen this season. I am deeply concerned about our bullpen and its capabilities right now. But we're going to see what happens. We're going to definitely see what happens, and hopefully we'll get enough to make it all work out. But, my friends, I hope you have enjoyed today's episode, and the search for a starting pitching prospect. Hi, Juan Love. If you could just work on your control in AAA this season, that would be great. And I hope you continue to watch the series. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, this has been Guardian, and I bid you good day.